Hi, everybody. Welcome to Top 4, the show where we find 4 things sometimes.
Most of the time, we find approximately 4 things that are our favorite things of those things.
Or least favorite things of those things.
Yeah, depending on the show.
Yep.
So this week, we have our favorite tracks in Mario Kart for the Switch, which is officially titled Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
Yep, because I have been super into getting good at Mario Kart recently. And look at me saying Mario Kart.
Not Mario?
Whoop, whoop. Well, it's because Adam makes fun of me.
Do you think you're going to slip up and say Mario at least once during this episode?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. I'm just going to flip-flop back and forth, and it's going to be okay. Also, I've been playing a lot more video games because I started a new podcast. Hey, pluggy plug. I started a new show called Playing for Fun with Relay FM's Mike Hurley. And if you are interested in hearing me talk more about video games, you can go over there. See, look how this all plays together. We're doing a video game episode. I'm plugging my video game podcast. Whew, it's so
Cross
much.
promotion.
I know. I'm just stellar. All right.
This, to me, it's just a very fun game. I've always liked the Mario Kart series, and I haven't played a lot, some of like the middle ones. Like the last one I played before this one was the Nintendo 64 one. And I also spent a decent amount of time with the Super Nintendo one at a younger age. But most of my Mario Kart playing time was the N64 one. Which is useful because this actually has some of the same tracks that are like remade for the new one. And so
I think that's
kind of
why
like
I like certain tracks.
Yeah, I think I definitely have a little bit of that in some of my picks too. But it's just overall, it's just such an incredibly fun game. I've always liked battle racing, like just racing that's kind of not that realistic, along with some kind of weapons. And so for a while, I was really into the Wipeout series, which is like future hover car battle racing. But they don't make that anymore, and it's never had that strong of a production cycle to begin with. And it was always for PlayStation for the most part, which is a platform I didn't usually own. So I didn't get a lot of time with it, and it was hard to find people to play with because like you were like the only person who you knew who liked Wipeout usually. So like it was not a common thing. But Mario Kart brings that battle racing mechanic to the masses in a really fun way. That's done well, it's executed well, it's packaged well, and it's released fairly regularly. Like there's a good Mario Kart game seemingly every few years. So it's
And we're
it's
able to
pretty
play
good.
with our kid too.
Yeah.
So our 5, almost 6-year-old, he's going to be 6 in like a month. Oh my gosh. He also plays with us. We put on the little assist antenna, and it helps him stay on the track, and it helps him have a continuous motion. So in case he accidentally takes his finger off of the acceleration button, he can continue to propel forward and actually have a chance. Because if he is as he gets better at steering, as he gets better at using the picked up weapons for defensive and offensive reasons, he can get better, and he is competitive with us. And so it's actually really fun for all of us to play together. So that's what we've been kind of doing as a family. Some evenings we'll have family Mario Kart track, Mario Kart racing, and it is just delightful. So we want to talk about our favorite tracks. I think let's get into it. Let's start with number 4. Honorable mentions.
We have honorable mentions.
Honorable mention number 1, you were just talking about racing games. I really liked Mute City.
Yeah, that's
it reminds
the F-Zero
me
track,
of
right?
F-Zero. I loved F-Zero. I loved all the music from it. I loved the racing mechanics of it. I played that game a lot when I was a kid. And so Mute City is kind of a fun, more modern Mario Kart version. It's a very fast track. I love hitting all the boost pads. And yeah, it's very F-Zero-y. So that makes my heart happy.
Yeah, that's a track that when I first played it, I was like, oh, that's kind of weird. But I got more into it as I played it more.
And it's not as hard as some of the other I'm going to fall off the edge tracks. So I think it's a little bit more enjoyable. There's only one major shortcut. I like tracks with shortcuts. So that's why this one's kind of an honorable mention, because I don't find it as dynamic, but the F-Zero element definitely puts it up in the honorable mention territory for me.
Yeah.
Cheap Beach. I like that one because it's super cute, and I like a good beach track. I remember some good beach tracks when we were playing Mario Kart in like the N64 or Super Nintendo. N64 at the good beach tracks.
Now, is Cheap Beach a direct import? Because I don't like. I know
it says
that the
Nintendo
N60...
DS for the Cheap Beach.
Okay, yeah, because like the Nintendo 64 had something like that, but it was a different track.
Yes, it was. But I really like those little cheap fish. I think they're super cute.
Yeah.
So I like that they're everywhere. I also like in Cheap Beach that there are alternate ways to go. You can either drive almost the entire track underwater, or you can stay on the beach. So I think that that's really fun because underwater you have a couple extra boosts and some jumps that you can get some boosts out of. So it's kind of nice. The next two I have on honorable mention are 2 Wario tracks because I don't like Wario. He just annoys, like, just the look of his face. I don't like it.
I mean, to be fair, I think that's the point.
I know, right? So I didn't want to like give him a slot in my top 4, but I really kind of do like his tracks. So I like Mount Wario and I like Wario Stadium, both because, Wario Stadium, I like there's a lot of fun jumps and you can go really fast. You can get up a lot of speed, especially when you're skidding around some of those turns. It's pretty great how fast you can get through that track. And then Mount Wario, I really like that there are no laps. And I like that there's lots of boost pads and you fly out of a plane like in the beginning. It's pretty sweet. And I like the continuous track of that one. I think that breaks up the cup very nicely and it's a really fun thing to play. But yep, sorry Wario, it didn't quite make the list, but you were so close.
I gotta say, Mount Wario is on my honorable mention as well. It almost made my list.
Yeah, it was really close.
Mount Wario is a lot of fun. I like, as you mentioned, like it's one of I think the 2 tracks in the game that have no real laps. You're just going down one continuous course, so like there is no part that gets repeated, and it just brings in a lot of different elements of different things that I like. And there's fun stuff like there's like the slalom part. There's the part where you're going through all the trees.
Yeah, it's like a little Winter Olympics. There's some moguls you go over. It's a winter track.
Exactly. But it doesn't like, you're not like sliding all over the track. Like you still have traction. It just looks cool in winter. It's fun. And there's so many different parts of it, and parts of it are pretty high speed. And so, but it keeps, you got to stay on your toes because like you get through one section and the next section is a totally different mechanic.
Yeah, when it forks in the woods and you can go to either side.
Yeah, exactly.
Hit all those
so many
trees.
Exactly. Like there's so many different parts of it. That's a track that like every time I play it, I kind of smile. Like that's a really good track. And I should point out too, like even the tracks even the tracks that are not my favorites in this game, I usually still enjoy playing them quite a bit. Like, it's not like I hate it.
Of course.
Yeah.
But if we did a hated tracks, I would have a couple that I just find boring, or I'm like, I don't want to play this one again.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I do like almost all of them.
Yeah. All right. So anyway, also honorable mentions for me, besides Mount Wario, I liked the Hyrule Circuit, the Zelda one. That's kind of also a fun track. It didn't quite make my top 4, but that's another track where there's like a lot of different elements, different styles within it.
I like how they changed the coins to the rubies.
Yeah, the coins and the music and like all the sound effects and like everything is all it's all like Zelda-ified. And to be fair, they did the same thing with the Animal Crossing track, but neither of us play Animal Crossing, so I don't really get it. but I do respect the conversion. I also had on my list Yoshi's Circuit. Yoshi's Circuit is a fairly generic seeming like just road track. Like it's a racetrack. It's a typical like road racetrack, but there's a lot of like turns and everything, and there's parts of it that can get very high speed, and it's like if you're looking for a like racetrack road style track. What I like about it is like it seems simple at first, but there's a few different ways through it that you really need to pick up a lot of speed to be competitive.
That's the one you could jump through the waterfall, right? In the very beginning. You didn't know that?
I didn't know that. Maybe
a shortcut through the waterfall. But I always every time I manage to make that one, I shortcut myself right into the water. Like after the waterfall, I shoot right off the track too far, and I'm like in the bay.
That's the risk of the of the shortcuts. All right, then my final honorable mentions are Toad Harbor. And that's the one where you're like driving through like the beach town, and then you go down that big slope at the end with the cable car and the boost pads.
Yeah, I like Toad Harbor. I like that one a lot.
I put kind of in the same category the airport one. I forget the name of it, where you're like driving like under the plane and everything and through the airport. These are kind of like I would call this category like large outdoor adventures around a bunch of stuff.
Like Mario Kart realism.
You're like weaving through like a busy thing. Like the subway station one is kind of like this too, not quite to the degree. It's a little more closed in and a lot more hazardous, but just like Toad Harbor and the airport one.
Would you consider the sewer one similar?
No, and I'll tell you why with the sewer one. So on my list of things I don't like getting wet. much, just like in real life. This is like shockingly like, it's just like me in real life. Yeah, like just generally tracks that have like significant water components, I just don't really like. I don't like the water slides. Like the mechanic where they have like, and I think that's in the sewer one. I think where you have those like little like those like water slide type things where you're like super fast. I don't care for that mechanic. I don't know. I just don't like that. Also on my list of dislikes, I don't like tracks that twist the driving surface around something with a solid core, like you're driving like on the outside of a straw, like that kind of thing. You know how like a lot of tracks do that.
I like that,
and that's kind of one of the reasons why I didn't care so much for. Like there's like the very beginning of Mount Wario has a thing where you can very easily just fall off the side because you're driving on top of like a little like snowdrift. It's also like like the big underwater dragon and that one underwater track, or like there's a lot of tracks where you are just kind of like driving like on the outside surface of some kind of tube shape for parts of it. I don't care for that mechanic so much. And just in general, I don't like tracks where you're constantly falling off of them.
Well, I think that's a problem between the user.
Yeah, it could be. I'm just saying. And so what I like, my favorite attributes for tracks are high-speed tracks, very wide, lots of potential for like big, long skids. Like that's
because you love skidding. Like,
yeah, I love skidding.
So
I'm an overskidder. I'm very much an overskidder.
You are overskidder.
That's why I'm always like hitting the inside wall of turns. Anyway, or skidding off the side of the track where I shouldn't have skid. Also, just like I guess like dirt tracks, like for whatever reason, just like maybe it's the mood or just the feel of the cars on dirt tracks. I just like that a lot. So dirt tracks, high speed, lots of room for a lot of skidding. That is what I like typically, and also the music of a track can make me like it more or less. Like I'm really into music and sound. I always am, and Mario Kart has really good music. Like I like that it's, as far as I can tell, I think every track has its own unique music, and the majority of them are really good. And it's quite like, and what's interesting is like the ones that they brought in from previous systems, like the ones we know from the Nintendo 64, the music, like they basically just brought in like a modernized version of the N64 tracks music for those, and it's still really good. It kind of shows like they've always had good music composition, So anyway, good music, dirt, high speed. That's what I like.
Yeah, Nintendo's always been very kind of solid on their music.
Yeah,
for their games. I really like it.
All right, so what is your number 4?
All right, number 4, I have Yoshi's Valley. Because, all right, that was originally an N64 track, so I have a lot of awesome memories, especially with that huge egg that kind of like goes around. I love the animation of the egg when it's just like scraping across the dirt and it's like, and you see the dust and everything. And so it's not even just hovering or flying around, it's literally like scraping and turning. And the feeling when you get right in front of it, right before it's about to close, because it kind of blocks the one path that you have to go down. And that amazing feeling when you just squeeze right by it. Oh, it's such a good feeling. And the rest of that track, I find it very fun to go in different directions and find different paths. So a lot of my favorite tracks, most of them that I have the most fun on, are ones where I can find alternate routes, a lot of shortcuts, a lot of variation on which way you can go. Because when all of the players, if you're playing in like a Grand Prix style, then it gets very crowded quickly. So there are the short crowded tracks. There are 2, the baby one and Excitebike, that can get very crowded because it's a very small track. And I find those fun too. But then in direct contrast to that, the other ones I like when they're just vast and all over the place. So the kind of the middle ground ones are the ones that fall flat for me. But yeah, so I have Yoshi's Valley, number 4. I don't have a ton to say about it. It just makes me happy. Like I like the track variation. I like all the Yoshi eggs everywhere. I like the music. And you can shoot yourself out of a tremendous cannon out of one of parts of the track, because like it just weaves in and out. You don't really know which way you're going, and then all of a sudden you all end at the same area. And it has a lot of good potential for skidding.
And it's a dirt track.
Oh, is this going to be on your list?
It is,
because it's meeting all your requirements. But yeah, I love that big egg. So.
I basically just described Yoshi's Valley on my list of things I like.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, so Yoshi's Valley is my number 4 track.
Yeah, I love how like when you start it up, you see the map, and like if you're not familiar with this track, you see the map, and it's just like a giant like it looks like spaghetti.
Yeah,
and you're like,
and there's
what
like
am I supposed to do here?
There's like tremendous gaps for like the big jumps in the rocket area, like
exactly.
So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, my recommendation on Yoshi Valley is to like pick like one route through it and just optimize the hell out of how you play that route. And that's what I do. Like my route is basically I go straight left at the beginning and I basically take 2 lefts.
I pretty much go the route my skid takes me. At first I was only going through the little cannon area because that was just really fun. And it was super easy to get there because you just stay right the whole time. And then all of a sudden you're getting blasted through this cannon. And but now that I've gotten good at skidding, I literally just go wherever the skid takes me. I don't try and fight it. If I accidentally like skid in the wrong direction than what I was intending to, and then I'm like, I'll just go this way. And it's pretty fun because it does feel like you are in control even when you lose control because you could just funnel yourself any way you want to go.
Yeah. All right. So, and I should just come right out and say, so Yoshi Valley is my number 2.
Whoa, it's high up there.
Yeah, I really, really enjoy it. It is obviously my second favorite track to play. It's just a lot of fun. It's everything I want. It's dirt, high speed, lots of skidding.
Check.
Yeah, no real way to fall off the edge most of the time. No water. No water slides. No twisting around with weird gravity and stuff. Like it's exactly what I like. So anyway, all right. My number 4 then is Moo Moo Meadows, the cow track.
Those cows are so cute.
That's what I wrote. I said the cows are so cute.
They're so cute.
Yeah, this track again. It's things I like. It's a high speed dirt track, lots of room for skidding, and it's covered in cute animals, which is hilarious. And like I love how like they slowly walk into the track as you go. So like in the first lap and maybe even the second, they're not really ever in the way. In the third lap, they are really in the way.
Yeah, they're all over the road because they do. It's the first lap, they're just out in the fields.
Yeah.
So only if you're a terrible driver, you are hitting cows. The second lap, they're starting to cross, so you just kind of have to like dodge them a little bit. Mm-hmm. And then the third lap, you pretty much have to weave in and out of cows.
Yeah, it's great. And yeah, it's just a really delightful track. I love the music for it. It's really good. It's kind of like a vaguely Irish folk kind of farmy music.
Yeah, like meadow music.
I love that it's set in sunset, and so like the lighting is just gorgeous. Like it's just a really nice looking and sounding track that also happens to be very fun to play with all these cute cows walking through it. It's in my opinion, that track is a masterpiece. I really love how there's a lot of opportunities in it for extra jump boosts, where you jump after you get air and you get the little boost, and like whenever those little moles digging the tunnels under that one part, you can jump over the tunnels and get a boost from that. And so I actually like seek out the molehills so I can jump over them, and there's a lot of opportunities there for.
That's a dangerous game in case a mole pops out.
Well, you got to go like for the rim of the hole. But yeah, they give you ample warning. I have yet to hit a mole. But yeah, it's wonderful. So big thumbs up to Moo Moo Meadows. That is my number 4.
All right. I got my number 3, Toad's Turnpike, going totally different.
Interesting. Yep. Okay.
I like Toad's Turnpike a lot. Again, another Nintendo 64 throwback track. But I liked Toad's Turnpike originally a whole bunch. It was one of my favorite ones because I felt like in the N64 version, it really was very different than a lot of the other tracks that you would play in the game. And here they updated it a bit. And I just really like the little different things that happen. In this one, the item boxes that you can pick up, they travel along the road with you.
That's right.
So they're moving just like all the cars are moving. And then there's all the obstacles are other vehicles on the road. And the best is that there is a ramp truck. I love a good ramp truck. And what's even great.
There's 2.
Yeah. So there's one that's carrying a surfboard. So that's a mini ramp truck. The big ramp truck, though, has a boost on it and a jump. And if you fly just right, you can get on top of a bus and get yourself another jump.
Oh,
that's right.
I didn't know that.
It's so dynamic how you can do it. But I have not gotten on top of the bus. It's my new goal because I see it up there. It's like it's the Grail moment is getting on that ramp truck, then getting the boost, then getting the jump, then flying right onto the bus, and then getting another jump. Like, I don't even know how far it could take you. Maybe you could even find another ramp truck right after that. That would be amazing. Or just maybe you could just drive on top of buses the whole time. Who knows? Like, but it's just, I really like it. I like dodging and weaving. I like the way it's very unpredictable where the vehicles are going to be. So at one point you can go on either like kind of bank yourself on the sides of the track to get that like hover car mode.
Yeah, the hover mode, yeah.
There's different tracks that put you into this hover mode. And so you can do that, but sometimes you don't know if as you're coming off of it, if another truck that's on like the obstacle truck that's going to be on the highway is going to block you. So it's like such a fun gamble, and it's almost like a good heist chase movie situation. And it's really fun. It's not a very long track, so you don't feel very daunted by it, but it's a lot of fun, different elements that you do not get in any other track.
It's almost like a halfway point between battle mode arenas and regular tracks. Like you're really fighting much more of the hazards on the road than you are trying to just be fast.
Yeah, and you're not really even encountering a lot of the other players when you're in a Grand Prix situation, because everyone is kind of tucked behind different vehicles that are also driving on the road, so you don't encounter a lot. So it doesn't become very much a battle situation where you're grabbing, red and green shells and things and you're trying to put them out, because it's just too big, too wide of a track to really get into someone else's face too much. So that's why I think I just enjoy it, just trying to find some Ram trucks and get myself on top of a bus.
Awesome. All right, my number 3 is Bowser's Castle. This is, one of like the 2 like fire and brimstone tracks in the game. I really want to like Grumble Volcano because it has such a funny name, but I don't really enjoy it. Like I like the name more than I like playing it. Bowser's Castle to me is just awesome. Like it's what I like about it. So, it has many of the elements I like. It has lots of potential for long skids, lots of parts where you can get very high speed going, but it's also really hard. There's a lot of like 90 and 180 degree turns that you have to do. There's those big like flame wheels and the big, like pendulum spike ball that you have to like not hit. And then there's the giant fiery Bowser in the middle punching the tracks. Like there's a lot. Oh, and then my favorite thing is the little like laser statues at the beginning that you get on laps 2 and 3. Yeah. Like there's a lot going on there where this is another surprisingly fun track to do in time trials because there is so much room for like, if I could just get this skid just right around this curve, I can keep the speed going. But it's really hard to do that, or you're taking a really big risk by doing that, and you might fall off or hit, slam into a wall or something like that, or get hit by a giant flaming fist. So like it's a very I think exhilarating track because you can be so fast on it, but it's pretty hard.
You say that when the fist hits the road and the road starts to ripple, you're able to take a jump off of those. Boost, yeah. I have not been able to get that.
It's a little tricky, but you can do it.
I can't get the timing right to do that. It's
same thing on the Super Nintendo Rainbow Road track where the thwomps hit the track and make it ripple.
I can manage to get that one, but for some reason with the twisting, I think I just can't time it right with the Bowser fist punch.
Yeah, in my experience, you have to basically be on the outer edge of the track where it's the biggest ripple. And that's
a dangerous place to be because you could fly right off the track.
Exactly.
So I'm probably not going to be there.
Well, and this is exactly it. And even that, like I only get that boost maybe a third of the time I try. Because even that, like it's another example of where this track is like you can get really fast if you take some risks, and it's really hard. And I love it. It's such a fun track. Not to mention that Bowser's really cool and it's all fire and everything.
You're not supposed to think Bowser's cool.
It has like heavy metal music. Cool. It's like guitars. Like it's a cool track. It's a lot of fun. So Bowser's Castle is my number 3, and I already mentioned my number 2, which is Yoshi Valley. So you can do your number 2, and then you can go into your number 1 if you want.
I actually kind of have like a real top 4 this time.
That's great.
Like
Me
besides
too.
all the honorable mentions that we piled in the front of the show.
Have a top 4 plus 4.
Plus.
It's like the US zip codes. Like it's 5 digits plus a few more.
My number 2 track is Sherbert Land. I love this track. It's so cute. Okay, it has a whole bunch of meets my checklist of favorite tracks, right? There's tons of shortcuts. I like the option of going in water or out of water, which is the opposite of yours.
I love that we can see each other's formulas here.
Yeah, it has cute little characters. The jellyfish in the water are so cute. The snowman outside of the water, the little snowmen are really cute. Even the like ice monsters that they are kind of like big iceberg monsters.
Yeah.
Those have like cute little faces. I mean, they were like mean, like monster faces, but I really like them.
And they have those little ice skating penguins near the entrance to the tunnel that are dragging coins behind them.
Yeah, there's so many different great little elements in this track. It's from the GameCube edition of Mario Kart, which I have played, so I do kind of remember this track, but I love the underwater shortcuts, the boosts, and let me tell you, and I told you this, I'm like, every time if you use the underwater shortcuts, you will get ahead of everybody, and you're like, no, because you don't like getting wet.
Yep.
So you never did it because, and if anyone is curious and needs to know how to get there, go through the cones. But not on every track. Not all tracks, the cones do not lead to a shortcut, because I've tried that at Wario Stadium. There's a little area that's like coned off, and I'm like, ooh, I know in Sherbert Land, you can go right through the cones and go into this super secret underwater tunnel shortcut, and it's really great. And so I go there, just flying right off the track into the mud. So that didn't work at Wario Stadium. But yeah, Sherbert Land, the cute characters, the great shortcuts, because there's 2 major shortcuts underwater. It's not just the one. Yeah. So that's good. And when you're above water, there's it's all amazing skidding. So it's just big, nice, wide skids, and you can get up some serious speed, and it's really fun. So, and the music is great. So Sherbert Land, sweet, peppy music, very good. Number 2.
Right.
It's just too cute to not be number 2. I don't know. I guess I based it on cute factor.
That's fair.
For that one. That's what got it bumped up a notch. I was like waffling them back and forth. I'm like, it's Toad's Turnpike number 2. I don't know. But I'm like, Sherbert Land's just too cute.
All right, before we do our number ones, we are sponsored this week by Squarespace. Enter offer code TOP4 at checkout to get 10% off your first purchase. Make your next move with a beautiful website from Squarespace. Squarespace lets you very easily create a website for your next idea with unique domain names, award-winning templates, and more. Whether you want to create an online store or a portfolio or a blog, Squarespace is an all-in-one platform that lets you do just that with incredible ease. There's nothing to install, no patches or software updates to worry about, no upgrades that you have to do. You don't have to worry about any of that stuff. Squarespace has you covered. They have award-winning 24/7 customer support if you need any help, and they let you get quickly and easily set up with a unique domain name if you still need one. And all of those award-winning templates that they have are beautifully designed for you to show off your great ideas. We use Squarespace. Tiff, you use Squarespace, right?
Yeah, I just used it this morning.
Yeah, before we even saw they were a sponsor, Tiff was using it this morning to edit her site in this like beautiful, like simple way. It was really cool.
Which you should go check out, because now I have all my podcasts listed. Woo!
Exactly.
Thanks, Squarespace.
So you, too, can make a site to list all your podcasts or whatever else your needs might be for just $12 a month. And you can start a trial with no credit card required by going to squarespace.com. When you decide to sign up, please use offer code TOP4, that's spelled out, TOP4, to get 10% off your first purchase and to show your support for Top 4. We thank Squarespace for their support. Squarespace, make your next move, make your next website. All right, so number one. What is your number one?
Number 1. All right. So what song were you telling me was stuck in your head recently?
Oh, no. The Excitebike one?
Yes!
Oh,
it's
God.
Excitebike. Excitebike is my number 1.
Excitebike Arena. Oh, that music is never getting out of my head.
Oh, it's so good.
Imagine like making coffee and deviled eggs in the morning with just that repeating over and over again in your head.
It's so good. I love Excitebike because back in the days of the original NES, it was one of my favorite games to play. And not for the racing or doing anything. It was for building the tracks. I really loved building my own tracks. And I can't remember really any other game that had a building element to it that I would have played when I was that young. Because, I mean, how old were we when that came out?
We were probably like 8 or something, like somewhere around there.
So, no, it had to have been a little bit younger. But anyway, it was kind of the first real time that I could play a video game on my own and find things.
We were 2
when it came out. So I was probably playing it when I was about 5.
Yeah.
But so
Probably not when we were 2.
not when I was 2, no. But I loved being able to build a video game level myself. And so that I got really addicted to that. And I would play Excitebike way more than I actually played Excitebike, if that makes sense. So seeing this in a track in a Mario Kart situation is just so much fun to me. And also, I really like hitting the boost, getting those boosts on a lot of the jumps. And you can really nail some major jump boosts in this track because it's a small loop. It goes pretty fast. You can get a nice, long, great skid in between all the mud piles, like on the curves.
It's kind of satisfying, like when you make it right through them.
Oh, it's so satisfying when you get it perfect. And then you can like be jumping. And then it's kind of fun, like how battly it gets. But sometimes that makes it even more frustrating because you're getting hit all the time.
Yeah.
But I see all the elements that I remember building. Like I remember making one track that was just covered in mud, you know, when I like built the tracks. And so seeing all of those elements again, it's just really, really fun. And I just can't help but feel really happy when I play it. So it's my number one. I don't care how annoying the music is.
It's really annoying.
It's fine.
One thing I'm not entirely clear on, when you get those really high jumps, is it actually faster than just taking the track, or is it slower? Like, does it slow you down to go super high in the air?
Oh, I don't know. We should time trial it.
Yeah,
we should
maybe.
like drive it nice and calm and then drive it like a wild woman and just be like drive all over.
Because they give you the boost, but you go up so far. I'm not sure it's actually faster.
I think it's like a time freeze thing where they show you like making your move like, wow,
I don't know about
kicked
that.
out stuff. Whoa. Because you definitely makes you go faster.
All right, we'll see. We'll test it, just like the plain bagel. We'll see. The egg bagel, sorry. Your plain egg bagel. All right.
It's totally faster. It makes you feel faster.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It makes my heart feel faster.
All right. My number one is Thwomp Ruins. This is the end of the Mushroom Cup. It's just wonderful. So it's just like
everyone in the house knows this is your favorite.
I know. I don't make any secret about this. I love the music. It's great music. I think that's one of the things that like first got stuck in my head.
Music is great music.
No.
Yes.
Yeah. So Thwomp Ruins, great music, great scenery. It's like a beautiful track again. Like I like just the aesthetic of it, and the design of it is such that it's what I like. It's not dirt, but you're kind of on stone, like cobblestone almost.
That's like dirt, sure.
Well, but like it handles the same way like a wide dirt track would. There's lots of opportunities for nice long skids, especially the one that leads to the little ramp near the end, like the little shortcut ramp that you get right before the end of the track. That's like the biggest skid I think in the whole track. There's the section where you go up on the side, and then you can maybe get like the big stone wheel opening up the ramp in the middle through the main midsection there, or not. It's a really fun track. There's lots of like it's not even like a super fast track. I'd call it like a medium speed track, but there's just lots of like just pleasant turns, really nice skid areas, good opportunity for battle, and some secret stuff that you can get sometimes. Just overall, I really like it. It's a great track, and that's all topped off by what I think are very nice visuals and a very good music. So,
and you get to say the word thwomp.
Exactly, and thwomps are just cool.
Yeah,
like I was going to put on my list the Super Nintendo import of the Rainbow Road track because it's the Rainbow Road that's flat with all the thwomps.
Yeah, I was thinking about putting a Rainbow Road track on mine, and it was going to be that one.
Yeah, like I think of all the Rainbow Road, this game I think has 3 Rainbow Road tracks. Mm-hmm. That one is by far my favorite of the Rainbow Roads, but
it's the simplest.
Yeah, it's the simplest, but I'm also just constantly falling off of it. And like when I actually play, I played it while deciding how to rank my list, and I want it to be a lot more fun than it is.
Yeah, that's how I feel. That's why I didn't even make my
honorable
pre-list. Yeah,
because like I'm just constantly falling off the side.
Visually, it's very fun.
Yeah, visually it's awesome. Mm-hmm. I love having that many thwomps and having them ripple the whole track when they slam down. Like it looks really cool, but I always find it less fun to actually play than I think it will be. But Thwomp Ruins has none of those problems because it's thwomps hitting rocks. So yeah, overall, again, I love this game so much. It just makes me happy to play it, and it's just like there's nothing about it is like sad or dark or that difficult. Really, like, it's not. Mm-hmm. It isn't that difficult of a game. It's just fun, and as you mentioned, like the ability for pretty much anybody to pick it up and play it with some of the assist modes if they need them is really great for families and friends and fun. Like, it's just a really nice game, and we highly recommend it.
Yep. It's the best. It's me. No? All right, Adam, we're going to ask you, since you play Mario Kart with us so much, do you have 4 favorite tracks that you want to talk about?
Yes. 2 of my favorites is the Rainbow World with that rainbow the rainbow train, and also the other one has the rainbow slumps.
Oh yeah, oh the Rainbow Thwomps.
And also I like Rumble Volcano, and also Fire Life Bowser.
What'd you call him?
Fire Life Bowser. That is the track's name.
It is?
Yes.
You mean Bowser's Castle?
Yeah, with the big fire Bowser, and he's calling it Fire Blythe Bowser, which is just like Ganon, right?
Oh, a Zelda joke.
In Zelda? Do you like the Zelda track?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. Are there any other tracks you can think of that feel really special and awesome to you?
But also, that was all 4.
That was all 4?
That makes sense.
You did. You got all 4.
Do you have any honorable mentions?
What?
Never mind. It's fine.
You can explain an
Honorable mention is something that you like a lot, but you didn't like it enough to put it in your top 4.
And Daddy?
Yeah.
Did you know? Also, I really like the red walls on here.
In the office?
Uh-huh.
That's good. So the honorable mentions are the red walls in the office. Are there any other tracks in Mario Kart that you think are super cool but didn't make your top 4?
But also, I can do 2 more.
Sure, let's do it.
Actually, I can do 4 more, so I can have 8.
You got it.
And also, I actually like all of the rainbow roads.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
4 and 1. That means I finished 5. I like 5 tracks so far. And also, I like all of the tracks. I actually like all of them.
Can you say goodbye, everybody?
Bye.
Thanks, Adam.
Good job.
The end. Ready for Mario Kart.